Alright, we should be live. We should be going. Banner's good, mic's good. Everything should be good. For once, we have a stream where no chaos happens before the first 5 minutes even hit. Thankfully. This might be the first one in a while where I'm not going, does my mic work? Am I good? Everything's working good for once. I have a feeling that I probably won't get another stream where everything works perfectly. I can come into it and go, yeah, everything looks good. Everything looks fine. Welcome to the stream. I probably won't get that opportunity again. But welcome to the 3-in-1 live podcast. I decided to do this because not only I'm just not in a spot to do videos and editing and such today. But also in case I ever ran into a situation where I wouldn't be able to do it, or I'd be crunched for time, or there'd be a situation where I'm not going to be able to record, edit, and set up everything for for how many ever podcasts are coming out that day, and would have to do a live stream in their place. And how it's going to work is I will segment it off in three different segments, anywhere from 20 to 40 minutes per one. I will try not to get sidetracked too much per segment or carry into different segments because it's a segment per podcast. And it's also to test out how everyone kind of, if everyone likes it, and how one of these would work if I ever were to do one of these again. Just to have that kind of experience if I were to do it again. I want to test this out. Even if I just wanted to go to live podcasting for a while and try that instead of doing the recording and then editing and then uploading, in case that I ever get bored of that. But anyways, I think I'm going to have to jump right into it because I didn't upload a video yesterday. Yesterday was my off day. I was not in any streams. I really wasn't in any streams. I would only jump in for a couple seconds. Today, got to hang out with some people, kind of slightly relax. Past 2 days have sucked majorly behind the scenes, but I mean, we're getting through it. And these podcasts, these videos, even just seeing a little bit of support really helps pull through some of this stuff behind the scenes and helps give motivation. But enough of the housekeeping. Let's get into what we came here for, and that's some podcast, because honestly, I really want to jump into this. We're going to go Eagles, Celtics, Fighting Irish, so everyone's scared off by the time I talk about the Fighting Irish anyways, if anybody shows up. But I'm thinking Celtics talk isn't going to scare everyone away as quick as Fighting Irish talk will. Or it's just me. I don't know. Who knows? But I have a feeling there's going to be a little bit of jokes targeted at myself again. This stream. It's one of those days. I'm not all here, but let's get into it. So, starting off, yeah, I think I'm going to go with Minshew, and then we'll get on to cuts and everything else. Gardner Minshew for a conditional 6 that could turn into a 5th if he plays 50% of snaps in 3 games. I don't think that's going to turn into a 5th. That's just me. Who knows? I could be wrong. There's been times I've been proven right. There's been times I've been proven wrong. Drafting J.K. Dobbins in the 2nd round. But it is what it is, and hey, as long as I don't jinx anything. I've already jinxed enough this season, and we haven't even hit the regular season. I don't want to jinx it anymore. It's already gotten bad. Either I'm completely right on something or I'm completely wrong on something else. So I'm hoping for a little bit of middle ground and a lot of right, but right in a good way. Ugh. Man, that might have went down the wrong pipe a little bit, but oh yeah, it did. But anyways, Minshew is coming to Philly. Nick Mullins was cut to make room by two-pick Nick, or as we got now kind of call him two-turnover Nick. You will not be missed, at least by me. Nick Mullins, don't get me wrong, he's a good quarterback. He's a good quarterback. He knows what he's doing. He somewhat knows what he's doing. I'm not gonna say he knows what he's doing. He did get surgery on I think it was his shoulder before the season. That could definitely contribute, but in the NFL, it is what have you done for me lately? And he was brought in to be somebody in that quarterback room, and he wasn't. So he was cut and replaced. He may land somewhere new. He may not. Who knows? I don't know. He may not land on another roster. He may land on practice squads till next year. Who knows? The NFL is unpredictable. For better or for worse. More or less for worse sometimes. But I like the move. Now that Nick Mullins is gone and Gardner Minshew's in here, I'm assuming that was a move to get a quarterback the coaches liked in the room alongside Hurts. That's just in case anything happens to Hurts and if they need a long-term solution, they get Gardner Minshew. And they don't have Nick Mullins because Nick Mullins is not a long-term solution from what we've seen from him so far. Gardner Minshew could potentially be, well, not long-term, but in terms of the rest of his season long-term. And I mean that because he's got starting experience. He's got experience as a quarterback. He's been put in situations that I think are going to benefit him now that he's in a different spot. A change of scenery might do him good. He's with a young coaching staff. And, hey, the move could work well. And then Philadelphia made 5 cuts. They've got to make, I think they're down to 74, and they have to make what's that, 21 more cuts? Don't back check me on that. I'm not exactly sure. Last I knew, I think it was around 74 guys on the roster, and you have to cut to 53. And it looks the first 5 guys to go were, well, some I expected, some I didn't expect. And I don't have it in front of me. I don't have everybody that went, which is why I am not saying who it is, because I don't have it in front. Actually, I'm in the wrong channel, that's why. Oh, I hate when I do that, but one sec. This is what I don't like about live, because usually if I'm having trouble finding something, I pause it quick, find it, and then come back to it. Or come back to this podcast and go, yeah, I got it here. I don't do it too often, but I don't really like to do a lot of cuts during my podcast because unless it's super beneficial, no. But dude, everyone blew up over the Mullins trade though. Really, like everybody was everybody and their mother made a video. I was like, the one day I tell myself I'm not making content, stuff happens. Really? We're really doing this? Why? Literally, that was kind of my first reaction. Was like, why? Why do you do this to me? One time, but I'm not pulling it up on Twitter because apparently we never dropped it in our Discord. But I'm telling you, the stream's already getting out to being now how I wanted it to go. The beginning went great. First 3 minutes, great. Everything worked out. No. All right, I've got it here. Eagles waived tight end Kerry Angeline. He was a local product brought in as a camp body. Defensive end Jaquan Bailey. Running back Elijah Holyfield. Wide receiver Markin Michelle. And linebacker Rashad Smith. I was saying Rashad's on the outside looking in. Markin. I don't even remember when they brought him in, to be honest. I don't even remember seeing it. Angeline was a camp body tight end who was a local product that if they really liked what they saw, even though this is a loaded tight end room, they could have thought about keeping him. He could land on the practice squad if they like him enough. Jaquan Bailey, another guy that I thought, I don't know where he's really necessarily on the roster. But Holyfield was someone I was big on. He had a good game against the Jets. He was the leading rusher. Josh Adams was the leading rusher on the other side. The guy who should be here right now, but we're not going to get into that. That's a totally different discussion for a totally different day. And I'm going to keep pushing that one down the road, but Holyfield got waived. I fully expect him to make the practice squad. I hope he makes the practice squad. I even got someone who was Jay Fizz, a friend of the stream, somebody who I got to have on one of these days. Jay Fizz, if you're watching the playback or maybe watching right now, dude, you got to come on one of these days. I think I have to have you, Lindy, and potentially try to get anybody else from the Discord on and just do one big video or stream or podcast because I think it would be good. But he's someone who was never high on Holyfield, and he even kind of came around a little bit. So I'm not saying he's high on Holyfield now, but he at least admitted that there was something there. And that's all I've been trying to say. There's something there in Holyfield. He's young. And honestly, I think if you can give him enough time to develop and everything, you've got something. And this coaching staff can develop him. They can. I hope they can. They're young minds. I should hope they can. You don't know what Howard's got left. He's not going to go back to what he was in Chicago. I don't think he will. The stinger really set him back. I did see a couple of people say, well, if he's cut, he's going to get scooped up. He almost retired until we called him. He's not going to get a name calls. If he is, it's going to be to be a fringe roster guy just like here. It's not like he's going to be getting calls to be the number 2 or number 3 or number 1 back in a committee. He's going to be a fringe roster guy used for situations. I get it. He's a good pass blocker. I get it. Howard is... I get what a lot of people see in Howard, but all in all, you can get a lot of what he does from a lot of different guys. Holyfield's your power back. Huntley can give you your blocking, your pass blocking. I think you can at least get decent pass blocking from Gainwell. You can get it from Sanders. What else is Howard going to do? He's not really going to catch passes out of the backfield. Gainwell's got that on lock. Sanders can do it. He can do it. Scott, I'd argue, could potentially do it. And you're not getting anything special from him. What up, BLSG? Thanks for showing up and at least showing a bit of support. I'm glad to see you jumping in quick. Just at least say what's up. Hope you're having a good day. And I think you jumped out, but if you're still listening, have a great day. But all in all, I don't see Howard lasting another couple years. He hasn't shown me that he's gotten back to his level in Chicago that he was at. Why not just start fresh? Why not? It makes no sense to me, but I don't know. All right, now let's get to... I guess I got to get to roster predictions since we're down to around 75. I got to check the number on that, but... Again. But... Hold on, let me get the exact number. I can find it somewhere. I think Spadero had it up. I don't know, but thanks, man. It's very quiet today. I know everyone else has got streams. I know Foothills has got a stream going right now. I know Bird Gang's got one later. Thanks for at least jumping in and showing support. It's been a very quiet night over here. I haven't really had anybody stop in that I know of, but thanks, man. It truly is another from one, even just a content creator jumping in. It's nice to see a familiar name, even from different streams, jumping in quick. But I gotta figure out where I saw the figure somewhere. I saw the figure somewhere of where the roster's at, but I don't know for sure. I don't know. But the deadline for cuts is at 4 p.m. on Tuesday. That is confirmed. So the good thing is well, the cuts are going to come in probably not today, but tomorrow and then the day after, because you're probably going to see two different sections of cuts. Because I think there's going to be a couple situations where they're like, I don't know on this guy or this guy. We like them both. There's probably going to be situations like that. We've seen it with fringe cuts before, even this season. I mean, they've come down to the wire, once or twice already? I think it was the first cuts they came down to the wire. But anyways, so I got to get a roster prediction done. And watch it be completely wrong, because that's apparently that's how I roll this week. As long as JJ doesn't get cut, I can be right on something. As long as it's not going to happen, I don't know if it's going to happen, but hey, AK's off the JJ train. I've been on it since the beginning. And I'm not the conductor, but I'm not in last either, or I'm not in the last one on either. So obviously you're going to have your three quarterbacks in Hurts, Minshew, and Flacco. Your two centers are probably going to be Kels and Pierce Baker, the former Redskin, who is also he's listed as a center guard, which that probably makes slight of a difference because he's movable. And Jurga, who I heard a lot of good things about, is gone. And then Kreider, gone. So they're the only two guys that can play center that are here. Well, Herbig, and people say Sam Malo can play center, but I don't necessarily see it. I'm going to have to write this down, because I'm going to have to pull up a notepad and keep this down, because I'm going to forget and then at the number I'm at, and then it's going to be a nightmare. So let's be somewhat organized today. This is the one podcast where I'm somewhat organized, but I don't have much of a baseline. And that's a first, because I usually have a baseline. That's 5. All right, so then you've got Brandon Brooks and Matt Pryor and Sam Malo and Opeta at your guard spots, with Awosika missing the cut. And then they actually have, well, I can see keeping Herbig at center and cutting Pierce Baker. I'll actually do that. Having Herbig make the cut and be a backup center, that could work. And then Dillard and Mailata at the 1 and 2 at the tackles, at one tackle side, and Lane and Driscoll at the other. And maybe LaRaven Clark as a backup, leaving Toth to miss the roster. So that's what? 16. Okay. I'm glad I'm keeping count. And watch, it'll still be wrong. There'll be a fringe guy that I won't think of that'll be like, oh yeah, I'm going to be explosive and come out of nowhere. Just wait. Just wait. At wide receiver, I got us keeping 6, going with Smith, Rieger, Ward, Quez, J.J. Fulgham, cutting Hightower. Michelle's off the roster. I don't know why he's still listed on the Eagles website, but he's still listed on the depth chart, off the roster. So that means we only keep 6. And that's one thing I am 100% on, that we're probably going to keep 6. I don't see 5. I don't see 7. 6. Hightower's lost the love for the game. He's lost a drive. You're not going to want that on your team. He's not going to develop. He's not going to push to be the best he can be. And Patton missing the roster. I don't know where he is. I don't know what he's capable of, but I don't know on him. I don't think it's possible for him to make the roster right now. Then at tight end, Zach Ertz, Dallas Goedert, Rich Rod, and then I can see keeping Tyree to a week 1 active roster, IRing him, and then pulling Stoll back up move Stoll to practice squad, and then, or potentially keep 4 tight ends, since we're probably not keeping 5 running backs, and I don't see us keeping 5 running backs as of right now, as I would keep, and that means you keep all your tight ends, basically. So that's 3. 1 IR. 1 IR stash. All right, so three and 1 IR stash, Stoll going to practice squad. And then running back, I have Miles Sanders, Boston Scott, Kenneth Gainwell, Jason Huntley. Howard misses the roster, potentially lands on practice squad. Who knows? I don't like him that much to keep him on the roster. I see Holyfield landing on the practice squad. So that is another 4 to make it 29. On to defense. I'm not going to make the joke. But, man, the segment's already carried over 20 minutes. Whew. I was going to say, that I'm going to easily carry this to an hour, I hope. Nobody's really dropping by. I thought I'd scare people off once I got to Celtics or Irish talk, but you got to have people show up to scare them off. But, yeah, hopefully I don't make it too many more of those jokes tonight. But defensive end, I see us keeping Graham, Kerrigan, Barnett, Sweat, Tehran. Matt Leo lands on practice squad. Jaquan Bailey is gone. That is 2, 4, 5. That's 34. All right. And that defensive tackle, Hargrave, Cox, Ridgeway, Williams, McGill. Raekwon actually. I have TUI. I don't know. Do I want to cut TUI in favor of Marlon? I'd say cut Marlon, keep TUI. That's bold, and if he can make it to practice squad, it's a good move. If he can't, I would regret that. But I think no matter who you cut from there, they could land on a roster. I think TY's got a better chance to land on a roster than Marlon. So I think you have a better shot of getting him through waivers and getting him to your practice squad. So that is 2, 4, 5. All right. I'm at 39 guys already. Wow, this might get tough once I get to the secondary. So, at Sam, Mike, and Will, you've got Jannard Avery, Eric Wilson, Alex Singleton, TJ Edwards, Davian Taylor, Patrick Johnson, Shawn Bradley, Jacoby Stevens. I can see keeping Jannard, Wilson, Singleton, TJ, Jacoby. That's easily 5. I think Bradley would make 6. Johnson misses roster. Davion hits practice squad. And that gives you what? 3, 4, 6. So that is 45. All right. Corner. Yeah, I'm gonna have to cut a guy along the way, anyways. Oh, that's tough. I want to get rid of another defensive lineman, but I can't. Oh, I got it. Trade Barnett for capital. Trade Barnett for draft capital. Trade him for draft capital. That wouldn't happen, but I could use that and drop it to 44, but I don't think that'll happen. Oh, that sucks. I really would go through with that right now. Oh. I think I'm going to have to cut Shawn Bradley and hope he can land on the practice squad too. I might have to, because you still have 5 linebackers. Because you've got Wilson, TJ, Singleton, Avery, Stevens. That's so tough. I don't want to do it, but I have to do it. I hate this. I'm not even a GM, and this sucks. All right, let's just say trade Dillard, keep LaRaven Clark, drops it to 43. And then this is tough. I don't like this. I don't like this right now. Do I want to see trade Flacco? I don't know. I'll see if I need room. I probably need room. All right, so corner. I have it being Slay, Nelson, Maddox, McPherson, Scott, James. That's 6. That puts it up to 49. At safety, I've got Kayvon, Harris, Adams, Epps. And then right now, that would mean Grayland Arnold, Elijah Riley, Blake Countess all cut. I think Arnold and or Riley could land on practice squad. And then that would help a little bit. They're going to keep a DB on there. 1 at least. Probably at least 2, in my opinion. Trade Flacco. You are now down to 52. And right now, McLeod's on the physically unable to perform. So that's why I haven't counted him in. I don't know if he necessarily counts against the roster right now. I don't think he does. If he does, that's a miscalculation. But we can only hope, right? And then I would be 2 over. Putting in Elliott, Cephas, and Lovato. Oh, who do I got to cut? That's actually kind of tough. We'll just say we go in 55, and then any viewers watching this live or playback can kind of decide where they want to cut somebody. And that way, so you guys can make the final decision on the 2, because I really can't. it's very tough to kind of try to draw out where to cut and everything. But anyways, we are segmenting over. The Common Flock segment is over. We are now going on to the Fighter from 3 segment. I've noticed my energy's gotten a little bit better during this whole stream. Then again, I don't know if that'll last super long. All right, so let me get into. Oh, I didn't even go into any other. I got other Philly stuff to get into also. I didn't even think of that. I'll just go over it next week. I will go over it next week in the next Common Flock. I really want to cut over to Celtics right now. All right, so this one I might keep short. Depending on how long I can carry this, I might keep this one short, 15 minutes. Only because this stream, I can kind of get away with that. Only because. If this was a normal podcast, I couldn't get away with this. But right now, I kind of can. No one will know. Yamadur signed a deal with Partizan Belgrande. Sorry if I butchered that. For the next season, and he is set to be an international draft and stash for another season. He was last season. That just makes roster building a little bit easier as of right now because he's not on it. So, although don't quote me on that. And then, I haven't gotten super much in terms of Celtics news recently. They've been very quiet, and that worries me a little bit. Kevin Garnett's number was retired. The number 5 is going to be hung from the rafters, and it's well-deserved. Kevin Garnett, it has brought the Celtics a good amount of good play. He got us to an NBA Finals and won us in 2008 alongside the big 3 in Rondo. And then did the same thing in 2010, only to lose to LA. So, I mean, he deserved it. It's a good thing his number has been retired. I'm glad to see his number retired. It's well deserved, like I said. And I'm happy. All right, so yeah, I haven't collected much in terms of news, but Robert Williams got an extension. Josh Richardson. If Mitch is watching this, he's laughing because I mentioned Josh Richardson, and I never mentioned Josh Richardson. I'd love to forget he's on our team. Got an extension, sadly. And Marcus Smart. Also locked in to being a Celtic. He was re-signed, actually. Not extended. So, whatever. Same thing to me. It isn't the same thing at the same time, but Brad Stevens said this, quote, "We are thrilled to have the opportunity to extend Marcus, and thankfully he's chosen to remain a Celtic. In his 7 years in Boston, he has made a big impact on and off the court. It is not a coincidence that every team he's played on has been in the playoffs with several series wins throughout the years. He adds to winning on both ends of the floor and competes with a grit and toughness that few can match. Actually, not few can match. And I'm glad Brad says that because it's true. He's got firsthand experience with him, so he knows kind of what he is and how he plays, and he can say something like that. It's good to have somebody like Marcus back. It's also good in the locker room because it's Marcus. The dude brings a fire like no other. You can't necessarily bring an energy like he can. Great defender, good shooter. You can sometimes turn into Josh Harris where he's on and off, but no offense to Marcus Smart, because Josh Harris does that all the time for the Nets. But hey, let's hope Kyrie wants to play this year and you guys can stay healthy. Although we were competitive in that series without Jaylen Brown and at some points without Rob Williams. So, not as good as you think you are sometimes. We didn't lose it that bad. And right now, Smart is the longest tenured player currently on the Celtics of 7 years. He's produced 10.2 points, 37.6 field goal percentage, 32% from three, 77.7% from the line, 3.6 rebounds, 4.2 assists, 1.6 steals, 29.4 minutes across 449 career games, 228 of those being starts. And one of three players to ever average 7.3 assists and 1 steal through each of their first 7 seasons, alongside Larry Bird and Anton Walker. Smart said this, quote, "There's nowhere else I'd rather play and no other fans I'd rather play in front of. I love Boston and Boston loves me. We've had some great moments and success in my time here, but there's more to accomplish. I'm ready to put that Celtics jersey back on and get to work out there on the parquet with my teammates." That's good. He wants to be here. That's good, because we should keep this roster together if we want anything good to happen, because he's an anchor. He's a good core piece. He's someone you can build around of. Let's hope it stays that way. Please don't fall apart. We've been doing this for years now. Can we not have something fall apart for once? Can we have good luck for one time? But hey, we're not that lucky. Smart also has made all defensive first team twice in 2018-19 and 19-20, and he's the first Celtics player to earn all defensive first team honors in consecutive seasons since KG in 07-08 and 08-09. In his 48 games, 45 of those being starts in 2020-21 season, Smart averaged a career high in points, 13.1 per game, assists, 5.7 per game, and minutes played, 32.9 per game. It was the second straight year in which he recorded at least 12 points, 4 assists, and 1.5 steals. He is fourth on the franchise ledger for 3-point field goals and 6th all-time with 702 steals. I should be able to get his contract up now. I'm pulling it up right now. I'm excited to have him back. I really am. Like, you don't even know. I will say, doing this podcast with nobody showing up, it's really like I'm just recording a podcast. I kind of do feel in my element a little bit more with no one showing up. So, well, no one dropping comments. So, at least there's that. So, I kind of feel, I don't know, there's a difference between streaming and podcasting for me, in a sense that I don't know. I've done podcasts for longer than I've done streams and call-ins and all that. So I'm just so much more used to it, and it's so much more of my routine. I do a lot of stuff on the podcast without even thinking at this point. A lot of the stuff I do kind of subconsciously because it's become routine. I'm used to it. And that's a good thing, a lot of it. Some of it's not like the constant jokes, but that's only more prevalent recently for reasons. But his contract is still not up. Yeah, they still haven't upped it. Oh, wait. Yes, they did. They did. He's getting paid a base salary of $16.6 million in 2022-23, $18.5 million in 23-24, $19.9 million in 24-25, $21.3 million in 25-26, and then is a free UFA after that at the age of 32. He gets a likely incentive of $600K in 22-23. And is a cap hit of 17.2, then 18.5, then 19.9, then 21.3 million. His 4 years of that extension. All right, on to the next Celtic. Josh Richardson. Yay, he got extended. Almost as bad as bringing Enes Kanter back. You can't see me, but I'm literally... I have a face that describes it all, and I'm not even on camera. I don't know if anybody can tell through the podcast, just the face I'm making somehow, just through my voice. Ugh, why did he have to come back? Why? Why do we have to make him be here another year? He's supposed to be short term. Don't keep him here for more than a year. We don't need him. We don't. Why do we need him? We have like 8 shooting guards right now. I mean, yeah, Yam. Well, I'm not necessarily sure. I think Yam's a small forward. But, I mean, Yam went back to being a international stash player. But still, that doesn't mean I want Richardson back. I know somewhere Mitch is laughing at me right now. Somewhere. If he watches the playback of this, he's going to be dying. Or any Sixers fan. Thanks a lot. If you hadn't traded him to the Mavs, he probably wouldn't be here right now. I wouldn't be talking about this. I probably would be talking about a guard I'm excited for to be on this roster. Not Josh Richardson. According to Brad, the president of basketball operations, Brad Stevens, he is, quote, versatile. He's a versatile defender, a talented offensive player, and plays with an edge and toughness that Boston fans will love. Yeah, remind me again. Is he a starter? No, he's not a starting caliber player. He wasn't in Dallas. I don't necessarily think he was in Philly. Why is he here? Come off the bench? Great. Come off the bench for like 5 minutes. I don't want to see you on the court. He's probably gonna be put in situations where I'm like, why are you on the floor? What? Where's anybody else? Where's Romeo? Romeo Langford. Where's anybody? Where's Peyton Pritchard? I'd move him down to guard spots just to not deal with this for 5 minutes. But I mean, we saw that with Cantor last year. He come on in situations I'm like, can somebody get him off the floor? Like, why are you back? Brad, what are you doing? Now it's not Brad's coaching, thankfully, to an extent. I liked Brad's coaching, but I didn't like his coaching. So, thankfully, to an extent, he's not here coaching. So, hopefully, this doesn't go as bad as the Cantor situation. It will, but who said that? Who said it will? That wasn't me that said it will. Did I say that? But anyways, yeah, that attempt at a joke sucked. I already know, but Richardson has some good. He has a good career average on field goal percentage of 42.7%. He averages 12.3 points per game, 83.2 from the line, and 3.2 rebounds, 2.8 assists, 1.1 steals, 0.6 block shots, and 30.6 minutes in 773 career games, 298 starts with Miami, Philly, and Dallas. He averaged 10 points in each of his last 5 seasons, from 16-17 to 2021 to the 2020-2021 season, including a career high 16.6 points per game with Miami in 18-19. Yeah, let's get his contract. I don't even want to talk about it at this point. I don't even want to talk about his contract. All right, let's load this thing up quick. I was going to say, we're not going to stick on this one too long. We got somebody important to talk about. And that is Robert Williams and his extension. I really would rather talk about that right now. I really would rather talk about that right now. I wanted to forget that this contract existed. It doesn't. It doesn't. Or it does. Not it doesn't. I can't even get my own jokes right today. What is going on? Usually I'm good with this. Usually that's the problem. Usually because whenever I'm on like Uncensored or Ake Eagles channel or anybody else's channel, Foothills, whatever, I'm always like, I'm quiet, but usually I'll like, if I'm gonna make a joke, I think it through because I'm obviously not talking, but I like to think kind of my jokes through. On the podcast, I'm just rapid fire jokes sometimes, and it's good and bad. It's got its moments, and it doesn't, like this whole podcast thing. This whole 3-in-1, I have just been bad joke after bad joke after bad joke after poorly executed joke, but here we are. So just ignore my horrible jokes, please. I know they're bad. He is getting paid $11.6 million this year. Why? To come off the bench. And then he got extended to $12.1 million next year to come off the bench as a guard. Yay. He's a free agent. He's a UFA in 2023 when he's 30. Bye. Don't get extended, please. Please. And he can't be traded because of the restriction until January 7th, 2022. So if we wanted to get rid of him, we can't right now. Great. Because that's what I wanted to hear. Because that makes me happy. And it was a player option 2021. No. I'm done talking about this. We're going to carry the next 3 minutes of this 20-minute segment into a topic I'm going to be more happy to talk about. And that is going to be Robert Williams gets the extension. Let's go. Potential future starting center for Celtics. Hopefully. I mean, we can only hope. I say that and then something's going to go down and then that ain't happening. But can we not jinx it 1 year? Just 1 year. Can we not jinx a future starter? That would be nice. Please don't be the Sixers. I'm sorry, Sixers fans. You had to hear that joke, but hey, the process is starting to die. I'm sorry. You're not. No. Actually, if you guys, when we can trade Josh Richardson again, if you want him, we'll take, no, we'll not, we won't take Ben Simmons. I don't want that contract. You guys signed him to that contract. You can live with it. Even though we got to live with Josh Richardson. We'll deal him for a second. I'll take a second. I will take a second in like 2026 if I have to get rid of Josh Richardson. If you want him back, you can start him at guard or forward. You can start him at shooting guard, small forward. That'd be great. Or you could even try to have him take over. No, I'm just kidding. I was going to say you could have him take over for Ben Simmons, but no, everyone's going to be like, oh, Maxey or Thibault is going to take over that spot. Yeah, I know. Then he'll be somewhat good again. As long as you don't start Ben Simmons. Then again, if you do, you're not making the 1 seed this year. So please start him. He's afraid to dunk. He's afraid to shoot. Start him. That way we can have better position in the field for the playoffs. I'm just kidding, but really, if you want to deal like a second round pick in like 10 years for Josh Richardson, I'd be all for it. It opens up space. We can get someone to develop that's not named Josh Richardson, and I can sleep happy for one night. Not even. One evening, maybe. But and then Brad will do something else that I'm gonna be like, yeah, no, don't do that. But so this was said from Brad Stevens on Robert Williams. Quote, Rob has worked hard to turn himself into a very impactful player, and his talent and selfless play gives him an even higher upside to reach going forward. Rob has embraced being a Celtic from day one. He is a great teammate and is completely committed to getting better. We're excited that he will continue to do so in Boston. And with Ime, and He was originally selected by the Celtics in the first round, 27th overall of the 2018 draft. Williams has averaged 5.7 points on 72% shooting, 5 rebounds, 1.1 assists, 7.7 steals, 1.5 block shots, and 14.7 minutes in 113 games, 16 starts over his 3 seasons in Boston. He has increased his scoring, rebounds, and assists in each year since joining the NBA. Playing in a career best 52 games, 13 starts in 2020-21. Williams produced a career high in points, 8.0 per game, rebounds 6.9 per game, assists 1.8 per game, and steals 0.8 per game, block shots 1.8 per game, and minutes 18.9 per game last season. He was the first Celtics player to produce 20-plus points, 8-plus rebounds, and 8-plus assists while shooting 100% from the field on April 2nd versus Houston when he tallied a career-high 20 points on 9 of 9 shooting. Oh, okay. Forgot about that. I forgot that game happened for a while, but it's because I forget about it because of Jason Tatum dropping constant 40-point bombs. But dude, when you got Jason Tatum on your team dropping 40 and 50 points a couple games in 1 month, it overshadows a lot. But Williams set franchise marks during the 2021 playoffs as well, becoming the first Celtics player ever to record 9 block shots in a postseason game. During the team's series opening game against the Nets on May 22nd, he played in 3 games during that first-round matchup, averaging 6.3 points, 64.3% field goal shooting, 5 rebounds per game, and 15.3 minutes per game. Not only that, he was hurt for part of the series and came in, wasn't playing 100%, and still got stuff done. Thank you, Robert Williams. I'm glad you're back. We'll quickly cut to his contract, and then we are off to the next segment of the podcast, and that will be the Golden Dome. But first, let's get to his contract. And it wasn't monstrous of size, but it wasn't a small one either. He's getting paid $10.7 million in 2022-23, $11.5 in 23-24, $12.4 in 24-25, $13.2 in 25-26, and then in 2026, the contract means he will be a UDFA. He has $6 million in incentives each season, 2021-22. Well, I'm not going to get into that because I don't know the acronyms are on that one at the moment, but he is making $6 million in incentives and increasing each season, which is good. Glad to see it. So now we will cut over to the third segment of the podcast, the Golden Dome segment, and this is where I chase any viewers I even had, which probably none, off because Fighting Irish Talk does that apparently in college football, at least on my channel. I joke about that now, but that's only because I'm on air. Whatever. So, someone I know did see my video. Did I put it on Twitter? I don't think I put it on Twitter. Because he said, yeah, Notre Dame's going to lose to FSU. They're going to lose to Wisconsin and Cincinnati. Oh, I so hope he's watching. I might have to send him this clip. I might have to clip this part of the stream and send it to him and say, yeah, this is what I said on stream. But I already kind of talked about it a little bit with him. I saw him today. If you're watching, I hope you're doing well. You know who you are. But I want to slip an inside joke in there, but I won't. I'll be nice to the viewers. Oh, I'm glad I saved that for today. That's going to get me through the podcast. I'm so tired from what I did earlier today. I'm not falling asleep, but I'm tired, so that's helping. All right, so let's get into this. I don't have much for this either, so I might have to scrounge something up. Actually, but I do want to talk about the schedule thing. Cincy, they're a tough case. They just lost their D coordinator, Marcus Freeman, to us. That's going to hurt them a little bit. They also, with how the roster looks and what they've done over the past year or two, I think they got to prove themselves more before I can give them enough leeway to say, yeah, that's going to be a close game. It'll definitely come down to the second half, maybe even fourth quarter. But I don't think it's going to be as close as a USC, a North Carolina, or a Wisconsin. Wisconsin will give him. That's a team that's a swing game for me. Wisconsin, USC, and North Carolina are all swing games to me. And that's my opinion. I know, but they can go either way. They really can. They're going to come down to that last drive. We did steal Wisconsin's quarterback, but again, we have a new defensive coordinator. And Marcus Freeman. Yes, he's good, but how long is he gonna? How long will it take for him to install his defense and everything? And how long? How is this gonna go? How's he gonna start? And then FSU. He says we're gonna come out of the gate slow. I do think we'll come out of the gate slow. We always manage to do that. For some reason we've done it for a while. FSU's always good for a half a season. All the time, the first half. Sometimes they fall off in the second half. They've done it before in the second half of the season, but in the first half, they're usually good. So that's a game that if Notre Dame doesn't show up, that's going to be winnable for FSU, but I don't know this year. I really don't. This year, this Notre Dame team is super unpredictable, and that's good and bad. But I had to talk about it quick. And then per the ESPN broadcast of the Saints game, not this week, but last week, Sean Payton says he considers Tony Jones Jr. the number 2 back on the roster. The former Fighting Irish getting a spot. Let's go. I like it. I'm glad to see him land in a spot. He was a good back here in Notre Dame. I'm glad to see him landing on his feet. And hopefully, he does well there. I'm excited to see what he can do in a good role. Hopefully he pans out better than Josh Adams, although Josh Adams is still in the league. All right, one sec. I'm going to move. I've been standing up this whole podcast, so almost an hour. So I'm going to sit down for a second. So I'm going to mute myself for a quick second. So I had my thing telling me my mic was muted as I was making noise, and I'm sitting here yelling at it. Yeah, I know it's muted. I muted it, but see, I'm also going crazy on stream. So don't have to pay to see that. That's free. That'll come with every podcast and every video. I'm a little bit crazy when it comes to sports, apparently, for better or for worse. But yeah, Notre Dame is going to be starting next week against FSU, starting their season. They play a late game, sadly. It is also carrying over, I think I got that next day off, so I will have in-depth coverage on that. I will watch that full game. The sucky thing is balancing between school and NFL and college football. This one's on a Sunday. This is the only Sunday game I think we're going to have. And I think it plans out just right to where it's not going to interfere. Thankfully, because I'm going on a Wednesday. Because the freshman and sophomore this year, not just the freshman going on Tuesday. So I'm glad it works out for me. It works out for somebody. So I will have some in-depth coverage on that. That's one game I was worried I may not see this year full of, because I'm going to be out at probably when it hits that time. I probably will be out at 11 instead of like 1 when some streams carry over to, like on Eagles Uncensored channel or something like that. There's been some that have carried over to obnoxious hours that I'm just like, that I'm there and I'm like, I want to go to bed, but I don't want to leave the stream. I want to stay and support, but anyways, yeah, hopefully when it comes to Sunday and Monday night games with sports this year, I'm not going to get screwed over by a bad sleep schedule. Hopefully. If I plan it right, I shouldn't. But so there hasn't been super much news, really. I will talk about the week 0 matchups too. Yo, what up, Eagles Uncensored, aka Eagles? How you doing? How's your day going? Well, it's night now, but how's your day going? How's everybody? But I hit my mic again. Like, I can't go on podcast without hitting my mic. Oh, see, this is why I go crazy. Because I can't have one perfect podcast. Something goes wrong. Oh, we're calling for a green out against Purdue. So, Notre Dame has announced that we are wearing our green uniforms against Purdue, I think. I think that's who it was announced. So, we're looking to green them out, but hey man, that's good. I'm glad you're having a good day. That seems like a good day in Madden. If you're destroying some people in Madden, yeah, that's great. I'm glad to hear it. It's always good to hear content creators having good days, and especially a lot of the ones I'm around. But man, I'm glad you're having a good day, and hope the rest of your day goes well, and hope you enjoy the rest of the stream. But yeah, they will be bringing back the all greens. Well, mostly all greens. I'll be happy. I've always been big on the all green uniforms. Surprise, surprise. And whether there may or may not be not consolation. There may or may not be conflicts of interest in that. I still really like the green uniforms. Not as much as normal uniforms, but if I had to pick an alternate, I love the green. Love it. Yeah, it is. It's hard to find those good days in Madden. I know. Yeah, Google time. Yeah, they were is it all green? I'm making sure. I want to make sure I fact check myself. I may even pull up a picture for you, because I guarantee you I have one in somewhere that I've used for like a background on my phone or something. I'm just making sure. Although they have been called cursed a little bit. Well, they're not all green. Well, yeah, it depends. We are all greens. We have had our green and golds, but they are all greens as far as I know. Unless they're doing green and gold, which I think they stopped doing. Yeah, and I like the uniforms. They're really nice. But hey, I mean, it is what it is. I do like the green. I get it though. It's not midnight green, but it's still good. It's not like they're like lime There's way worse colors to use for a jersey, I will say. There's been some jerseys that have made me go, really? Why? Some greens. And this, even if you don't like the green, it's not the worst. Yeah, but every once in a while, every once in a while, I'm wrong on something, and I always think, oh yeah, I'm right, and I never think to fact check it, so I had to make sure this time. I don't want to be wrong on some stuff today. Not only that, somebody will come back to the stream and go, yeah, you should. Like, if I had said it and it was wrong, somebody will come back to it sometime. Probably my cousin just to mess with me. But then again, if he's watching the stream, he's probably happy that I admit that the Wisconsin game's a swing game, that it could go either way. But whatever. We'll see. We'll see how that goes, because some people in the fan base think the green's cursed a little bit. I don't, because I like it. But I'll admit it could be a little bit. It's possible. Yeah, I don't think they did either as an alternate. They started, I don't remember when they started rolling with it as an alternate, but yeah, it is iconic though, I will say. The blue and the gold, and yeah, it's iconic. I will say, because that's been around since we started the college, since the college was started. So I get it, but I still like the green. The green looks nice. But yeah, the game is 1 week away against Florida State. Yeah, I know. I want one too. I've actually looked. I might actually get one sometime in the next year. Hopefully, that might have to be my big acquisition next year. Behind a new gaming console, but that's a different story for a different podcast. Not this one, but yeah, I gotta figure out where to get like even a micro-sized one, just to have. They're great, and honestly, I want a gold. Yeah, I want a gold, like a real gold one, because they used to paint them every week. Gold. I really want one so bad, and that's coming from a Notre Dame fan. I don't even have one. I mean, I have one that's like a pencil holder and stuff, but that's not a real helmet. It's not a real helmet, so I think I need one at this point. I was gonna say, next few years I'll have one. It'll end up showing up in a thumbnail somewhere. I think I'll turn that into a new joke whenever I get something new that's Notre Dame or Philly. It'll end up in a thumbnail sometime. Which it probably will. Oh, I completely forgot. Harrison Smith got another big contract, making Notre Dame happy. He's 32. He got a nice sized contract with the Vikings. He's still going strong. That made me happy because he's a great safety. Yeah. Yeah, I know. It's crazy how they did it, and I can't imagine painting those week in, week out. But it would be interesting if they brought that back as a tradition too. I never thought of that. I never thought bringing back painting the helmets and everything, because I think that was changed early in the Brian Kelly era, if I'm right. I could be wrong. Don't quote me on that, but yeah, I need to. I need to be something I dig into more, that maybe could start again. I don't know. That'll have to dig into, because when that happened, I never really truly dug into the reasoning why. So I know, me neither. I would treat that thing like it's like a signed football or something. I'd be like, nope, like clean it every couple of days. Make sure the thing's in great condition, not damage it. Even if I was playing, dude, every time I go down to lay out a hit, I'd be afraid to break the helmet. There was one clip, I don't have it on me right now, but it was a Notre Dame defender goes in and lays out. Who was it? Might have been an Oregon Duck. I don't know, but yeah, he went and lit him up, and it broke the opposing team player's helmet. And I was like, dude, I would be afraid to damage my own helmet, let alone the other guys. But yeah, under the lights, it's different than you could ever think, and under the lights, it's something that you don't necessarily think you'd see. And honestly, I'm glad to go to a game this year because I get to see the helmets. They may not be the painted ones, but I get to see them in action, and that'll be fun. And it's really interesting too because watch, this is going to turn into the podcast is the helmets, talking about the helmets, but I'm not mad. I don't care. I just love chilling and talking. The chat's been super quiet, so I'm glad somebody came along, or a couple people came along tonight, though. Although I probably will end this at probably the hour and 30 mark, so that's another 20 minutes. Just because I got stuff to plan behind the scenes for the next week. Because I do want to, I might actually make a video on like the Harrison Smith signing and, well, I still got to eat and everything, but I don't know for sure. I'm going to look this up now. I was going to say, I'm pulling it up right now, but I don't know. I don't think it was that expensive where they did that. So, I'm reading up on it, and I don't know, but I am reading up on it, and it's something that is iconic too, and it matches with the jersey. And they did have a different styles. Like in '63, they had the Irish player's number on the side, and then 1959 to '62, there were shamrocks on the sides, and they awarded helmet stars at one point, which I'm surprised. I didn't know they did that. I never knew they actually did. Wow, but I'm digging right now. I'm not seeing much on it, on why they stopped. But yeah, by the end of a season, it had as many as 12 coats of paint on it. A helmet did. And like it was a 2-3 day process to do it. And when they changed to I guess it was a brighter, more like it looked a little bit better in terms of how the higher ups saw it in the AD. So they shifted to different helmets where you didn't have to paint them, courtesy of Hydrographics Inc., an Oregon-based company. And I guess here's what they wanted. I just read this. They wanted a more dynamic kind of gold. They wanted something that looks shinier, brighter, newer, and maybe didn't take all the work that these did. Because this was a 2-3 night process, 12 times to paint, because you had to saran wrap like the face masks. You had to take off the face masks. You had to do the painting. I think there was I think it was more than one coat. So there is still, though, the 24K pieces in the helmets. They just don't paint them. I didn't actually know that. Again, I never really read into it when this happened. So I was never a huge Irish fan. Like I never grew it. I grew into being a fan of the Irish, so I didn't pay attention to it much in the time when they changed it back around 2011. But now reading into it, I can see what's going on. Yeah, but I guess they wanted to go for more of like they wanted it to match consistently more with the color of the dome, which I kind of get, but it takes that tradition away, and that's from the article I've got. That's what that also says: is it takes the tradition away. It takes away something that you saw constantly, and it's something that you knew was going to happen. And in an attempt to get the color right, there was 5 different shades during the 2011 season. And after over 12 different versions, the final product is kind of what we have now. Yeah, and I guess a lot of what sold it was like the shininess and the texture of the helmet and all that. And I get it. It is college. It is, at the end of the day, in a way, it is a business. It's like we say with the NFL, but it still sucks. But hey, at least the Shamrock Edition uniforms keep rolling on. That's a tradition I don't think will be gone for a while. And I love the Shamrock Edition uniforms. They're great, especially this year, because this year they went with a nice look. I like them. They're not the best, but they're not nearly the worst. I put them in the top third of those uniforms. And yeah, I think I'll have to read into this more in a video. But yeah, I think that's something I got to read into more before I can get like a full kind of outlook and everything. But hey, it's nice to see that at least there's somewhat of still traditions in the organization going on. There's a lot. And then, all right, let's get to the week 0 games. Let's get to that. Those were, now, a couple weren't great, and there was one that was really good, Nebraska, Illinois, which started with a safety because of a certain player. Actually, not a certain player. Their returner went to get the ball, slipped, and got hit back into his own end zone because he got it like on the one along the goal line and kind of screwed himself. So, 101 not to take punts. Don't take it at your own 1 with defenders closing in quick. But he did it. That's why if that was the NFL, he would have been cut. I'm saying it now. If that was the NFL, bye-bye. But that's a good thing he wasn't, because he would have been shipped off immediately. On the spot. But that was a good game. That was a really good game, that Nebraska-Illinois game. That came down to a last minute score, I'm pretty sure. The rest of the games weren't good. Even the one that was projected to be like a close game, which I think was the San Jose State by 10 points. I think they were favored 10. That was still a big, blown away game. Yeah, that can't, no. Nebraska couldn't score at the end. And their kicker missed 2 PATs. Nebraska's kicker missed 2 PATs. This game was wild. Really, it was wild. I was asleep for the last part of it, so I missed it. It sucked. I also missed part of the Little League World Series that apparently was good. The Hawaii-Michigan game, I think it was. But the college football stream, no talk of anything else right now for me at this moment. But this was the first time Nebraska has lost on week 0 in a while. I think they were 14 and going into this, another 14-1 on week 0 ever. And Bienema shouldn't have said what he said before the game, Nebraska's coach, because he doesn't look great for it. But whatever, dude. Then you had Fresno State, UConn. Fresno State won 45-0. UConn didn't even show up. Looking at the box score, the QBR for UConn's starting quarterback, 20.3. He threw 61 yards, 12 of 24, no touchdowns, no picks. Average of 2.5 yards per catch, or average of 2.5 yards and 61 yards. Dude, how? I think Fresno State was kind of favored, though, in this game. They had a total of 35 rushing yards and 72 passing yards. They lost a fumble, had 4 TFLs, 5 pass deflections. UConn did have a pick. They had 2 returns. Had 2 kick returns, 2 punt returns, no kicking, and punted multiple times. They punted 11 times. And their one punter, or one of the guys who punted, I don't think both are punters, I'm not sure. McFadden had 8 punts, 323 yards, 40.4 average, long of 53. Their other player who punted, Kerr, had 3 punts, 110 yards, 36.7 average. Fresno State, they punted 5 times. Kicked 1 of 2 from the field, 6 of 6 extra points. Had no kick returns, 2 punt returns, no picks. Had 4 sacks, 10 TFLs, 4 pass deflections, 2 QB hurries, 1 touchdown. They recovered 2 fumbles. Had 382 receiving yards and 4 touchdowns, and 156 rushing yards and a TD. Their starter, Hayner, went 20 of 26, 331 yards, 12.7 average, 3 TDs. And then their backup was 7 of 13, 51 yards, 3.9 average, 1 TD, 1 pick. That was Fife. That game was, I think it was kind of expected to be a heavily favored in Fresno State. UCLA, another game that I think was heavily favored. UCLA. Good game for them. Had 243 passing yards, 28 of 53 passing. That's Hawaii. 243 passing yards, 28 of 53 passing. 1 TD, 2 picks. Their starter had a QBR of 10.2. That's Cordero. And then their second string, Shager, had 14.4 QBR. They had 26 total rushing yards, no TDs, 21 carries, so an average of 1.2 yards per carry. Again, 243 yards on 28 receptions, 8.7 yards per catch, 1 TD. They had 2 fumbles. They didn't lose either of them. Had 2 sacks, 3 TFLs, 3 pass deflections, and 1 QB hurry. They kicked 1 field goal, 1 extra point, and had 5 punts. Okay. They scored 10 points. UCLA scored 44. Went 12 of 22 passing, 148 yards, 6.7 yards per or average yards, 1 touchdown. Their starter to QBR of 41.8. Not great, not horrible. Their rushing attack, 43 carries, 244 yards, 5.7 average yards per carry, 4 TDs. Again, 148 yards on 12 receptions for UCLA's receiving core, 12.3 yards per catch, 1 TD. They had no fumbles. I think they're the first team with no fumbles, or second of the first 2 games, or of these games that I've talked about. Had 2 sacks, 7 TFLs, 8 pass deflections. Apparently, they even had a touchdown scored on defense. They had 2 picks and had 1 punt return. Kicked 1 field goal, 5 of 6 on extra points, and had 5 punts. And then UTEP won 30-3 over New Mexico State. Saw that coming. Passed for 249 yards, 11 of 20 from passing for UTEP. 1 touchdown, 2 picks. Rushing was 42 carries, 203 yards, 4.8 yards per carry, 2 TDs. They had 11 receptions from 4 guys in terms of receiving, 249 yards, that 1 touchdown. Had 2 fumble recoveries, 6 tackles for loss, 3 sacks, 5 pass deflections, 4 quarterback hurries. Had 2 punt returns, 3 field goals kicked, 3 extra points kicked, 2 punts, averaging 42 yards. And then New Mexico State, 9 of 33, passing 89 yards, no TDs, no picks. 34 carries, 101 yards, 3.0 average, no TDs. Rushing, receiving 9 catches, 89 yards, 9.9 average yards per catch, and no TDs. Had 2 fumbles, lost 1. That was the starting quarterback, Johnson, and then had 0 sacks, 5 TFLs, 1 pass deflection, 2 quarterback hurries, had 2 picks, and kicked 1 of 2 field goals, and punted 4 times. That is New Mexico State, yep. Then the final game of Week 0, San Jose State wins 45-14 over SUU, who is Southern Utah. So, passing, Southern Utah was 17 of 31, 139 yards, 4.5 average yards per throw, and 1 touchdown from, I think, their third-string quarterback, of all people, threw 1 on 1 pass. No, it might have been a receiver. I don't know, because he's got a reception too. But Southern Utah didn't have a great rushing attack, averaging 3.6 yards per rush on 31 rushes, 111 yards. But they had a decent night with receiving, 17 receptions, 139 yards, 8.2 yards per carry, yards per catch, and a touchdown. They couldn't get to the quarterback, 0 sacks, 2 TFLs, 3 pass deflections, but they did have a defensive touchdown. And that was on an interception. And they lost. How do you get an interception touchdown and still manage to be garbage for the rest of the game? I don't know. Usually that doesn't happen. Weirder things have happened, though. Not great from returns. They didn't really return the ball much. And 0 of 2 from field goal range, 2 of 2 extra points, 5 punts. Yeah, he had a long of 70 on punts. Girardi, their starting punter, put one 70 yards. Really? Really? Really now? Can Cyphus do this? If not, can we get this kid, please? I want somebody who can punt the ball. Well, Cyphus can, but we constantly have been having Aussie Rules punters. Anyways, I'm joking. But San Jose did go 8 of 30 in passing, 410 yards. Huh? 13.7 yards per attempt. I think it's yards per. Yeah, yards per attempt. 4 TDs, 1 pick. Their starting quarterback Starkel had 95 QBR. Their backup had 11.9. That's on 3 attempts, 2 completions. Didn't have much of a rushing attack. 23 carries, 133 yards, 5.8 yards per carry, 2 TDs. I think they were more of a short gain offense, really. I don't know. The numbers are slightly misleading there. But in terms of receiving, they had 18 receptions, 410 yards, 22.8 yards per catch in 4 TDs. They went off. They went off. They really showed that what were they favored by? 10 points? They really showed that they should have been favored by more. I don't know if this was the game that was the second closest favorite game, but if this was, somebody was wrong. Somebody was really wrong. Can this be another Coastal? I don't know. I hope not. I don't want to go through another one of these where it's like, oh yeah, they're supposed to be so good and then they get beat by Liberty. Of all teams, Liberty. But they did lose 1 fumble from... Actually, it was their running back. I thought it would be a quarterback. I think that's been mostly who fumbled all of week 0 was quarterbacks. Usually, well, I think most teams have had fumbles. At least 1 fumble week 0, but they didn't really get to the quarter. Well, they didn't really. 1 sack, 1 quarterback hurry up. They had 8 pass deflections and 8 TFLs though. They got in the backfield a little bit. They had some returns, not really well. I mean, what do you expect now? They don't really take returns. But 1 field goal was kicked, and it was a 41-yarder, 6 of 6 from extra point. Somebody can make all their extra points. Take notes, everybody else. And their punter kicked 2 punts, 80 yards, 40 average. But yeah, I said we go for probably about an hour and a half total for the stream. It is now an hour and 32. I want to thank everyone who came through, aka Eagles of Eagles Uncensored Podcast, BLSG, and anybody else who may have been watching that didn't comment, that I didn't hear from, or may have dropped in, or who may be watching on playback. Thank you for showing up, watching, supporting. And to my cousin, if you're watching this, Notre Dame's not losing 3 games, okay? We're not. If we are, it's not going to be against Cincinnati, all right? Of all teams, you had. Well, it could have been worse. You could have said USC. I'm not complaining about that part, but we're not losing 3 games, in Cincy being one of them. But this has been a 3-1 of the Common Flock, the Golden Dome, and the Fighter from 3. I will see you guys next time. Peace.